President Biden calling for a crackdown on guns, but not on the criminals who actually commit the crimes.
They'll accelerate and intensify this work to save more lives more quickly. First, this executive order helps keep firearms out of dangerous hands. Ban assault weapons. Ban them again. Do it now. Enough. Do something. Do something big. I laid out in my budget that we invest more in safer communities and expand access to mental health services for those affected by gun violence. Congressional Republicans should pass my budget instead of calling for cuts in these services or defunding the police or abolishing the FBI.
But will his plan actually stop crime? Biden's big speech said nothing about our country's lax bail laws. A study found California suspects released without having to post bail went on to commit other crimes. They were 90% more likely to commit felonies, and the offenses were 200% more likely to be violent. Okay, I'll start with you, Jessica. The truth is that the president keeps talking about the assault weapons ban, and, it was in '93, I believe, and everything about that in terms of the studies indicate that it really didn't make a big difference. But does he really think that criminals and gun dealers and gang members, the ones who are actually committing the crimes, are going through the legal channels to buy guns?
No, but there is a part of it which I think should help, or certainly the idea would help, about improving the reporting on guns and ammunition that's stolen in transit. So people who do bad things like kill people also might steal things. So maybe they are doing that. I don't think that there's anything, certainly considering the fact that we now have had bipartisan gun legislation, that's objectionable in this. I understand if you want to pivot and say this isn't addressing the issue of cashless bail and things like that, and what these prosecutors in Philly and LA, New York City are doing, et cetera. But everything in here is good. And the assault weapons ban, which was from '94 to 2004, there is evidence that it did some good. And I think it's worth exploring again. I understand Republicans are not going to budge on that. But in the meantime, the president is making good on his promises to do as much as he can. He still wants Congress to do more for him. But I think that any Democratic president would do this. And I mean, there are a lot of gun control advocates who think that, frankly, he's not even going as far as he possibly could. It's the closest we can get to universal background checks.
Well, the truth is the increase on the background checks pretty much puts us at the place of a universal background check. But one of the things that Jessica, she mentioned was when you kill people, you steal things too. And the truth is that you get bailed out, whether you kill them with a legal gun or an illegal gun. But the truth is, statistically, it's not, if you leave out cities like Chicago and Detroit, where people are running around with illegal guns, America, instead of being one of the highest countries in terms of mortal gun crimes, is one of the lowest. So what is the point of making the legal gun owners go through the ringer?
Right. He has this entire executive order. He doesn't say gangs once. He doesn't say bail once. And this guy does everything he can to not talk about the actual issue. I looked at this thing last year he did. Remember this big gun legislation that was bipartisan? That was the first time in 30 years. Well, I just printed it and read it, and it's just a bunch of Band-Aids. And the new executive order is just the same Band-Aids that they ran out last year. Remember last year they were going to go after ghost guns, and then they wanted to do more commercials, and then they said, I'm going to spend money to develop anti-crime strategies. Wasn't it his idea to come up with a strategy? And now this new one is basically, you're going to have Mayor Pete look after ghost guns on the trains. It's all a bunch of Band-Aids, and people are sick of it. You know what could really do a lot?
Supporting a gun ban?
You know what could really do a lot more? This is what I support.
Okay.
Under Donald Trump, they prosecuted federal gun charges at a pretty high level, and those prosecutions went up every year. Joe Biden comes in, and federal gun prosecutions have gone down. Why is that? He talks a big game. He doesn't back it up.
You know, Greg, one of the things that I did when I was looking at the stats out of Chicago was to try to get the stats from the feds, from the United States Attorney, and from Cook County. Cook County basically told me to mind my own business, okay? They were not interested in providing gun prosecution numbers, nor were they interested in identifying those who were released without bail who had guns. So Biden doesn't explain how this executive orders keeps guns out of the hands of the criminals who are let out of jail.
Well, right. I mean, to your earlier point, there's a country within a country that has insane gun crime. Right? A specific country within a country, but it's Biden's people. These are liberal mayors in liberal cities that are having rampant gun crime. You could say, oh, but it's a red state. Doesn't matter. It's in these cities. So it's a country within a country, but instead he's punishing the entire country, somehow exempting, not saying gangs, not talking about, I mean, let's face it, it's almost all gangs, handguns, people getting released on the street. They get their gun confiscated. They know they're going to get another one. You know, you imagine it, like, all a normal person wants is, you know, a safe life. That's what everybody wants. Democrats, even you, Jessica, would like a safe life. And what is safe? You want a fence around your house. You want protection for your family. You want law enforcement there to deal with things that you can't deal with. And all of those three basics have come under attack, I'd say, in the last, I don't know, decade. They've been mocked. A fence is a border, right? Protection for your family is just the Second Amendment. Last, no cops. And then he has the cojones, or what's left of his cojones, to say it's Republicans defunding the police. You guys were shouting it from the rooftops, almost literally, during riots. So the fact is, we're kind of watching an unraveling right now, and we're desperately trying to pull it back in. And their refrain remains the same no matter the situation. Their rules target the law-abiding. They don't target the violent criminals. It's almost as if they want not status quo, but status chaos. Because that way, as long as we're consumed by crime, we can't go after them. So why else are they treating this so lightly? These are not issues. This does not solve anything.
It doesn't solve anything. The truth is, Dana.
That's the people did that.
Yeah.
But
let me just go to Dana.
Yeah, of course. Sorry.
All right, Dana, the truth is that Biden keeps claiming that the Republicans are pushing to defund the police, ignoring Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, Cori Bush, the whole group of them. And he also ignores the fact that when he had the House and the Senate and the Oval, he didn't do anything for gun laws.
Yeah. And he's they're also starting to roll out this talking point that the Republicans want to defund the Border Patrol.
Yeah.
That's coming as well. So I think people see right through that, but Republicans have to be ready to argue back on the merits because they know where the media is on this, especially when it comes to covering the border. They are not. One person I always follow on gun issues is Charles Cook over at National Review. His headline is, if Biden's background check executive order has the teeth he says it does, it'll be illegal. Yeah. That's probably true, right? But what does this get President Biden? It gets him another point to go out there and campaign, if he is going to campaign in 2024, to say, I put forward additional gun background check executive orders, and the Republicans are against it. They want your kids to be killed. And then it'll go to the courts. And the courts, and that's where it will sit, because he knows it's illegal, just like student loans, just like the eviction moratorium. But he puts it out there, and now the Republicans are having to fight back, not only in the courts, but on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
Crazy. So politically smart.
Crazy. All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.